Good evening. Just wanted to do a quick video update for this evening, and also wanted to try out this software that supposedly allows a live cast to go both to YouTube and to my Facebook page at the same time. Only you know if it's actually working or not, because last time I tried to both watch my live cast and do my live cast at the same time, it about exploded my eardrum and it highly confused me. So I just thought that I've been swamped, busier than I've ever been in my life. I love making videos and communicating, but I just don't have time to edit the videos. So if this all goes off the way it's supposed to, I only have really a few minutes here this evening before I have to leave yet again. But I thought I would do a video to go along with the latest blog post that I did. And if you haven't checked it out, if you haven't subscribed to my blog, it's at thecivilrightslawyer.com. And check this out. Where is that thing? Yeah, so there it is at thecivilrightslawyer.com. If you haven't been there before, it's something that I've worked on since I think 2007 or 2008. I started doing that pretty early on, and I've migrated from different topics at times, but I've always enjoyed writing. Not particularly a good writer, but I enjoy to write about things. So as you can see, if you've looked at my post, I've really been writing a lot about all of this COVID-19 tyranny that we've been suffering through here in West Virginia. And why do I call it tyranny? I call it tyranny because we have been living under the rule of a single authoritarian figure, a single person, and that's been the governor. We have a tricameral form of government, a Republican, a Democratic Republic. But right now, the free people of West Virginia have no say in their government. We're just being ruled under an indefinite state of emergency. So I watched a little bit today, and if you read my blog post, I think I put the link in the description for both the Facebook live video and for the YouTube live video. But again, check it out at thecivilrightslawyer.com. Also, keep calm and call John. Anyways, I watched a little bit of the governor's press conference today, and I haven't been watching these things. I just can't watch them. It's just awful to watch. I've had to suffer through some of it, but I was watching, the one today, and then as soon as the governor finishes with his presentation, he turns to our czar, our COVID-19 czar. And I've criticized this before, but why and how did we start having a czar? Where did this come from? Let her rip, dictatorship. All right, I'll let her rip. So why did we have a czar in the first place? Where in the West Virginia Code does it allow anybody or any governor to appoint a czar? Obviously, it doesn't. And it's always sounded kind of ironic to me. Why do we have a czar? That's sort of a kind of a left-wing term, a Russian term, really a dictator term. So where did that come from? And I started thinking, all right, well, who is this guy? So he's Dr. Clay Marsh. I dug into it, very well respected, well-known doctor. But, where did he come from? Well, he's the head of the medical school, the health sciences, everything, basically, the hospitals at WVU, which is really WVU's the biggest university in the state, and biggest hospitals, everything up in Morgantown, West Virginia University. So he's the head of the entire medical department, the health sciences department there, the medical school. So I start, I didn't go to WVU. I went to UNC. and um, UCF before that. But I really didn't have a whole lot of experience with WVU. But we know all these public universities now are just bastions of communist teachings, of left-wing ideology, of Marxism. We know that. I mean, so I got to looking more specifically at WVU as compared to some of the other universities. And it's pretty interesting. And if you look at the blog posts that I did, I kind of lay out there that the most recent thing that happened with WVU that I remember is the chief of police of their local police department that's there at WVU was just in the news not too long ago. Apparently, he was having a live stream Zoom meeting, and somebody, some diversity director or something, saw a Blue Lives Matter flag behind the screen on the wall inside of his house. And oh man, did that start a cluster after that. Next thing you know, there's all these WVU professors that are, calling for his resignation and so on and so forth. And then the next thing you know, he's issuing a formal apology. And so I went to WVU's website, and it's still up there. The apology is still there. They've basically highlighted it. And it's a police officer apologizing for having a thin blue line flag on the wall inside of his own house. So, I mean, maybe my little town here is so far removed, and I've criticized the thin blue line flag, long before any of this recent stuff, because it kind of, the thin blue line in my mind is kind of covering up for our buddies. That's what it conjures in my head. But, especially in recent months, even recent years, it's sort of turned into a pro law enforcement flag. I understand that. Cops, they have, or their family members have bumper stickers. And even my little town here on the, those entry and exit signs where they have the church signs and the Ruritan Club, all this stuff, our local sign, it even has a thin blue line flag on it. So, most of, God-fearing West Virginia take no offense to a thin blue line flag. They understand that that's I support law enforcement flag, even if they don't truly understand, the origin of it or what it meant originally or where it came from. The volunteer firemen have their thin red line flag now. So it's basically just a pro law enforcement, I support police flag. And some people might put the stickers on their car so that they try to avoid getting a ticket if they get pulled over. But it's a fairly innocuous sort of thing. And here we have this major university in a state full of pretty conservative, liberty-loving people just hammering this police chief for having a pro law enforcement flag inside of his house. And they come out and make all these social justice comments. And so I started looking at their website, and they're I guess it's not a surprise, but they're a highly left-wing university, and this guy is up there in the administration. Look at their website, and I've put some of it up here. They're promoting the 1619 Project, which is a anti-American effort to basically destroy our history and our culture, and to claim that the United States wasn't founded in 1776, that it was actually founded on, when the first slaves were brought into Virginia in 1619. And, that's total BS. And in fact, if you actually look at history, and a lot of that's been debunked by historians, but if you look at, I don't have a lot of time here, but if you look at actual history, a lot of the colonies attempted to ban slavery several times, or limit or restrict slavery. In fact, Virginia in 1764 successfully passed a bill through the colony's legislature to outlaw slavery and limit slavery in Virginia. But who stopped them? It was King George III of England in Parliament, and the other wealthy aristocrats in England who vetoed Virginia's attempts at outlawing slavery in 1763. So why did they do that? Because England, a large percentage of their economy was the slave trade. And we may think of the Dutch or the Spanish as being the big slave traders, but England was the largest post like 1650. They were the largest of the slave trading European powers, and it was a big part of their economy through the early the early 1800s as well. In fact, England only banned slavery in like 1840 or around there. So, they only preceded us by, 20 years or so in the timeline of slavery around the world. And we were never, as a country, engaged in the trade of slaves. England was. But yet it's America's founding, which is the first time ever that people have been able to create a constitution for themselves. And they're trying to, and really, if you look behind, it's a lot of leftism, a lot of Marxism behind all these efforts at destroying our country and indoctrinating our youth. And a lot of this is happening at these universities. And so if you look at, well, who is this guy who is our czar? Well, maybe it's not a mistake that they use the term czar, because we look at, he's this big guy at WVU. And they appear to be just a radical left-wing organization. I mean, look at their website. I've put some of it on the blog post. Our call for social justice. We denounce police brutality and unwaveringly affirm that all lives can't matter until Black lives matter. Okay. Where were they the past 15 years that I've been investigating acts of police misconduct? Yeah, they weren't there anywhere. They're just joining in for the purpose of furthering the left-wing narrative. And it's not really about the police, but look how they turned on their own police chief is my point. You can look at the other things having to do with WVU. I put some screenshots up on the blog post showing political donations. I mean, there's a lot of good facts out there. You look at the political donations from WVU employees, and we're not talking about, probably the low people on the totem pole that are making all these hundreds of thousands of dollars of political donations. Almost all, the vast majority of their political donations are going to Democratic or left-wing candidates. Very few have gone to Republicans in the last 30 years. So remember that we're talking about somebody who has enough pull with those folks to be their leader of all the medical side of WVU. That is our czar. And that is who is apparently leading our bumbling idiot of a governor who doesn't even know that he's a red state governor, a Republican, supposedly, of a red state full of conservative, God-fearing people. He's going along with all these blue state governors. Now, why would he be doing that? Why wouldn't he be doing like Nome in South Dakota, who set a great example for how it should have been done? Or the governor of Georgia. Why didn't he do these things? Well, look who he's got leading him. He's got left-wing academia. They've probably got him scared as hell. They're telling him about how disastrous this is going to be. Do they have a political agenda? I mean, who's making these decisions behind the scenes? We know they're involved in politics. Look at the charts that I showed of all the political donations they made. So this is from an organization that is almost entirely Democrat. Are they letting politics influence their advice to the governor? And should the governor be able to unilaterally restrict our freedoms, make us wear a mask when we leave our house, force us to stay at home, shut our private businesses. And I've explained ad nauseum why he can't, and that it's unconstitutional. And again, in various places on my blog website, thecivilrightslawyer.com, you can read where I've posted the 40-page brief that we filed describing just how these things are unconstitutional. So anyways, I just wanted to call attention to my latest blog post that, I didn't intend to do it, but the more I started looking up WVU, it just really started to all come together for me. So anyways, I've got to run now. Time for jujitsu. But anyways, thanks for watching. And please make sure you read that blog post and subscribe so you get notifications of new posts via email, because with the way that Facebook has been censoring, who knows, they'll probably even shut this off. So anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.